Can't remember the last time I had a Gatorade. Also, if you want to sponsor us, Gatorade.
We are totally down.
Yeah,
we'll change our
Gatorade.
narrative quite a bit. Yeah. It's Gatorade. that whole, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That commercial. It's a great one.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Past Your Prime, the podcast for active adults balancing life, training, and rehab. I'm Alex Keicher, pro volleyball player, dad, and a guy who often wakes up feeling like I just ran a marathon when all I actually did was sleep the wrong way.
What?
What?
I did not read that part. That's funny.
Yeah.
All you did, you slept.
Slightly wrong.
Slightly wrong.
Yeah. I did last night too. That's probably why my body's aching this morning. Anyway, we've been taught that fatigue is simple. Your muscles run out of gas. You get tired and you rest. But have you ever had a week where you barely trained, yet a weight you usually breeze through feels like an absolute house? I actually did have that last week. Went to squat like 225 and I was like, why is this so heavy? I had done 275 the week before and it was not a problem at all.
So there's a different experience there.
Yeah. Probably stress or something else ruining my muscles and making me feel like crap. I'm joined by Craig Smith, PT and strength coach. Today we are going to break down a model of fatigue. I can't say either of the authors' names, so we're going to let Craig say those. But we're going to talk about why your nervous system can drain your battery before you even start sweating and how you actually build your capacity back up. Craig, tell me the name of the authors of this model of fatigue that we're going to talk about today.
It's Enoka, Duchateau. Enoka's a different person. Duchateau's a different person.
Two authors.
Two authors who came up with this model that I think is very useful in pulling apart the problem of fatigue.
Pulling apart.
Pulling apart. I can say Duchateau, but I can't say pulling apart.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a bit of an issue.
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork. I don't think they're going to like that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So what is their fatigue model and why are we even talking about it today?
Well, I mean, don't you think when somebody says they're tired, I feel like we often think of one or two reasons, or we have a very clean or clear explanation for why somebody feels fatigued. And the idea is that fatigue is actually not simple. It's not caused by one thing.
You didn't sleep enough.
No, it's also not. It's almost if you went through the typical wellness clinic commercial, right? Where it's, do you feel like you're tired all the time?
You need TRT therapy.
You need TRT, yeah. So I listen to those things and my brain just wants to explode. That okay, you're literally relating it back to a single hormone as the only reason somebody feels tired. I think it's clinically lazy to basically pin fatigue on a single hormone in the body when it is an incredibly complex topic.
But won't that just fix it anyway? I mean, even kind of regardless? No?
No. Well, that's
how it's sold.
I know it's how it's sold if it's the problem. But I mean, also, not even to go down that route, but why is somebody's testosterone reducing? And then why is the assumption that you taking the extra testosterone is going to fix every problem? I'm not saying it can't be a medical solution. It can't be a therapeutic treatment that somebody does and doesn't have good results, but it shouldn't be the only thing that gets investigated. And not only that, there's other things which we can go into some other time of what causes low testosterone to develop. Like that, I think that there's other things that could be participating in it versus you just need to be getting TRT treatment.
Yeah, maybe we should do an episode on that. I feel like that's highly searchable, especially among men our age. Do I need testosterone?
Do we need testosterone? Yeah. But second to that, I just thinking about my own personal experience with fatigue. The Enoka Duchateau model, it basically breaks apart fatigue. And I'm using my computer today because I actually want to be really specific. So they define fatigue as the level of fatigue experienced by an individual that can be modulated by challenges to homeostasis, disturbances in psychological state, reductions in contractile function, and limitations in the capacity to provide an adequate activation signal to the involved muscles.
Yeah, can you break that down into plain English?
Actually, words that people would
please,
understand.
Less scientific than any of the past 3 episodes.
So it's homeostasis. So your body always has a
Don't
drive
know what that means.
to keep itself in the same, basically in the same place, right? So we have all these regulatory systems that help to keep our body stable and healthy. For example, you don't have massive changes in your body temperature. Your body has these mechanisms to be able to keep your body at the same temp, even if it's hot outside versus if it's, it's cold. Your body basically does things to try to keep the body temperature the same. And if it gets out of that range, you can die. That's why a fever is an issue.
Adaptation.
Well, I mean, but even think about what's the body doing when it adapts. It's doing it to basically bring you back into a stable place. Yeah. The whole purpose of it. If you think of all the mechanisms that people are trying to change when they do the sauna, for example.
That's what I was thinking.
Or even a cold plunge, right there. Those ideas are you're trying to make it so your body gets better at stabilizing itself. So that's homeostasis. And that could be things from like blood sugar, which that's the example I always think of. When I was meeting with Jackie, I was getting really tired at the end of the day. And part of it was because I was having huge blood sugar variations throughout my day. And the crashes were causing the fatigue.
Not because you're having caffeine at 3:30 in the morning when you wake up.
I mean, that could be a component of it. So are you a caffeine addict?
Since having my second child, I have reintroduced caffeine. I used to really limit my caffeine so that I could use it in the performance capacity before doing athletic activities. But now I just have it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Did that happen with the first child as well?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Even more so.
Is it because she's crazier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, she just wasn't as good of a sleeper, the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, number 2 is a little bit better of a sleeper, but I'm just tired. And I train late at night, so it just,
it all adds
I'm
up.
all thrown off. Anyway, it's probably enamored in this specific fatigue model. So
the second one. So we said homeostasis, second one is psychological state. That's the one that I feel that I deal with a lot, where pain, for example, depression, motivation, all of those things are components of your psychological state that have a huge impact on whether you're fatigued or not. So if you look at any study of long-term pain in patients, there's 2 things that typically are there. There's pain, but then there's also chronic fatigue. And that's part of the whole idea around psychological state. And there's also really good evidence that there's shared mechanisms that are driving both at the same time.
Like the same thing is contributing.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, the dysfunction in the nervous system. Contractile function, that's the ability of your muscle fibers to generate force. And then finally, the activation signal, that's your ability for the nervous system to produce signals and cause the muscles to actually fire. And so any of those 4 things can be causing somebody to feel fatigued. I think what's most useful about this model, the Enoka and Duchateau model, is that they break it up into these 4 things, and they break those 2 are perceived fatigability. So that's going to be changes in homeostasis and your psychological state, versus performance capability, which is that's going to be the contractile. Yeah, fatigability. I'm sorry.
That's right.
And those ones are looking at your contractile ability and then your activation. So those are 2 separate ways to look at it, which I find to be much more useful clinically.
So the second one is more of like just tired muscles actually being fatigued.
Yeah. So we did in school, the human performance lab that I was at, they would do things like, have you ever heard of the Wingate test?
You've talked about it on the podcast
I hated
before.
it so much because I don't know if I ever did it without vomiting or getting to the point where it wrecked me for the rest of the day. And it's only a 30-second test that you basically spin really hard for 5 seconds against no weight. They basically drop this certain percentage of load or resistance onto it. You go for 30 seconds straight. And by 20 seconds, my body was starting to feel crazy. But 5 seconds later, I felt like I was in a vomit. And then at 30 seconds, I vomited. but it was a horrible experience. Not everybody has that response. And so for
I
me,
think you're the only one.
I know it was so weird, but my takeaway from that was that's a performance related.
Yeah.
So my body has issues with going into an anaerobic state,
Short bursts
yes,
of performance.
that go longer than basically 10 seconds. My body has a bad response. That's something, like I said in our last episode, I've been working on that with Kenny. I've gotten much more comfortable. And so I've been training my performance fatigability a lot.
I don't know why I find that funny. I just I think of all the ways that you would need like a 10-second burst of energy. Just like, oh, Craig has a sprint because he's being chased by the police. He just throws up everywhere.
Yeah. Like would I be able to actually get away? No. So no.
You just throw up everywhere. Then you're like, I'm not touching this guy. You could just go.
Have you ever heard of persistence hunting? Persistence hunting?
Is this like the Hunger Games?
No. It could be, but it's where hunters and gatherers would run something to death. They chase after it, but humans are really good at endurance running. And so they would go after an animal and they would just continue to run because the animal was not able to recover. And basically they run it to death.
What animal would be susceptible to this?
Any four-legged animal, because so one of the huge advantages to two-leg running is that our breathing is not tightly related to our gait. And not only that, we have all these different systems that have developed that allow us to be very good at running and conserving energy. So if you look at bipedal gait, so ability to walk on two legs and running, we can hold paces for really, really long periods of time. Like we're not the fastest over a short distance, but we're almost unbeatable over really, really long distances. And so there's a work by, what's his name? Lieberman. And he's done a lot of work showing that we are really good at keeping up similar paces for a really long period of time. And you can literally run animals to death.
I would lose. The animal would win 100% of the time.
Yeah, so it's like, where did your genetic stock develop?
Right.
Because is there a place where you could just shoot fish in a barrel type of thing? I could reach my hand in and grab the fish or something.
Probably. I'd probably be better at that than chasing an animal for more than
run them to death.
Like 8 minutes.
Ugh, that does not
Definitely, Alex is not running any animals to death.
Yeah, not the most fun way to hunt.
Maybe a turtle.
I've not heard of anybody that I know who is a hunter hunting that way.
Do you know any hunters?
I do.
Oh, okay. You're talking about like hunting wild game.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Not the whole thing where
it would be interesting. I might watch that on like ESPN 9.
If that was extreme hunting.
You have nothing. You're a body and you just need to chase an animal until
I
it
do.
gives up.
Yeah. So it'd basically be that weird ultra marathon.
I'm also an
crew.
animal lover, so I don't think I'd watch it. So.
It is kind of weird to kill something that's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, it's goofy.
Right, we just lost like 12 viewers.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's all right.
Let's talk more about perceived fatigability. You kind of gave an explanation in words like homeostasis that I don't understand, so dumb it down for us.
So just think, homeostasis is just your body wants to keep you in a really stable range. The temperature is the easiest one to think of, but we have all sorts of systems that are like that in the human body. Blood sugar is another one. The interesting part, I think, with the perceived fatigability is that if you go into a research study, you read about fatigue, they're often really focused on performance fatigability, but what you're experiencing has a direct impact on if you report fatigue or not. So for example, if you're constantly hurting, you're going to be exhausted, right? I mean, even in
you're just mentally exhausted from having that feeling.
Yeah, but it also has a direct impact on what you can actually do. For example, if you have somebody go for a walk, for example, and we do a 6-minute walk test, and they have high rates of depression, they're gonna have a higher rating of fatigue during the activity.
I see what you mean.
And so there's this like tight relationship to it. Same thing as if somebody's doesn't have enough fueling, they're gonna feel more tired. Still maybe be able to produce the muscle contractions and everything, but they're going to have perceived greater fatigue during the activity. And I think that the important part about that, and kind of brings us back to our capacity model, is that energy capacity is something you just can't ignore. the idea that you're going to focus completely on your ability to, for example, play volleyball, jump as high as you can, but you don't adequately fuel, which is something we run into all the time. Is they may eat well, but then when it comes game time, they don't eat fueling before the activity, and they don't have calories during the activity, and they have this large blood sugar drop, and they can't keep performing at the level they wanted to. And so you can see that there's this really tight relationship to how you're fueling your body and how you continue to perform. And so homeostasis is one of those things where we want to get your body to be able to handle a whole bunch of stress, but handle it in the exact same way instead of it having this large variation how your body responds.
You talked about an injury at the beginning of that. Would that kind of correlate to like you have a slightly pulled hamstring or something like that, and so you're not able to perform at your highest capacity because of that? Is that the same type of example or no?
Well, no, it's actually a good one. We can actually use that as a case study, but if you think about this, so let's just say somebody pulls their hamstring.
Or is that more performance fatigue?
It would actually, I think that's great because you're kind of thinking of all four, right? So somebody comes in and they have pulled their hamstring, and they're also reporting that they've been feeling way more fatigued. Let's say they're getting back to building up their running. Typically, there's something around all four of those buckets that we just talked about. From a homeostasis standpoint, they may have really large blood sugar changes that they aren't aware of because they've changed how they fuel because they've been hurt. They may have, and that's going to be the homeostasis. We can talk about the psychological state. They're now nervous to go full out because they feel a tightness, and maybe that tightness is just a subjective tightness that they're nervous to pull it again. So now they're more one way to think of it is you have areas in your brain that if you hyper focus on something, you're going to notice more and more changes. And that's one of the things we know around chronic pain, for example. Stimulus that shouldn't be perceived as pain or as a threat is. And so now this person is really aware of their hamstring, and it may be functioning totally normal, but because they're thinking about it so much more, they feel that they may feel more fatigue from it.
More susceptible
to an injury. Yeah. And pain, they may feel more pain, and all those things actually impact fatigue. And then we actually go to the contractile tissue itself. There was maybe some damage, obviously, in those little contractile units, like their actual damage in the ability of the contractility of the muscle. And then not only that, the muscle coming back may be inhibited or overactive. So if you think about how the nervous system activates the muscle, so all four of those buckets actually get hit. And so if somebody comes in and says they're feeling fatigued, I feel way more fatigued, and especially in this specific area every time I go for a run. If I don't think through how they're describing it, I may pick the wrong intervention.
Is that something you're seeing a lot in your clinic these days?
I see a lot of fatigue basically being people thinking it's a missing supplement or a missing energy drink.
Like I need to
or
take my
testosterone.
potassium.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you meant.
And it's not simple. I think the big thing is it's not simple to pull that apart. And I think that the most useful thing is to just understand there may be multiple reasons, and it's totally normal as you're going through rehab state. It's also totally normal when you're really focused more on performance and physical capacity as well.
So you're using this model in the clinic to try and pull apart people's fatigue if that's one of the complaints folks are coming to you with?
I do a lot. If somebody comes in with pain, I always think that's the easiest one. Pain, and so if somebody comes in and they're hurting, that's one of the most obvious ones. There's a tight connection, in my opinion, between somebody's pain experience and their experience of fatigue. I think that is totally normal. But then right now, for example, I think everyone's more tired because in Tucson, it's dramatically hotter
degrees,
right? And so I think that's hitting the homeostasis, right? Your body's having to work way harder to keep your temperature regulated. And so that change, you will feel more fatigued, and that's totally expected.
So that's interesting. I guess I haven't thought about that as a contributing factor to just summertime fatigue in general.
Yeah. And if you do think of it, then so then the intervention in that situation, right? How do you make sure that you help your body regulate your temperature better? You can use the cold rag around your neck. You can make sure that there's a fan. You can make sure that you're staying hydrated. All those things are going to help your body regulate temperature and more effectively. And that can drop somebody's perceived feeling of fatigue. And if that changes their perception of fatigue, that may also impact how well their performance fatigability does.
Well, not even perception, but actual fatigue itself, I would say.
Is actually fatigue, yeah.
Because I was playing volleyball on Friday night, and it was just like hotter and a little bit muggier in the gym than I'm used to, and I was sweating way more than I usually do in this specific setting. And then, when I got home, I was like, I am just juiced. Like, I fell asleep, like an hour and a half earlier than I normally do. And I think maybe it's perceived, but I think it was just actual fatigue from the surroundings or the environment.
Yes. And I would say, and so like to even go on that, that's why I think Gatorade, for example, has the most brilliant marketing. They have linked all experiences to you're not having enough electrolytes, which needs to be fixed by you drinking Gatorade. So they have really cornered the market on what causes fatigue, right? I mean, if you talk with most individuals and they start to feel tired around physical activity, that's going to be one of the big things that they get pushed towards is maybe an energy drink or a electrolyte drink.
I can't remember the last time I had a Gatorade. Also, if you want to sponsor us, Gatorade.
We are totally down. We'll change our narrative quite a bit. Yeah. It's it's Gatorade. that whole, I'm talking about that commercial. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could drink sugar drinks too. But then once again, what are we changing? That's you're trying to get fueling. So that I just think it's interesting because there's multiple ways that you can really pull it apart, and it's typically not one thing.
Yeah, a slightly frozen, I think it was like Blue Frost or something like that in the summer.
It was delicious.
Yeah, just delicious.
Mine was always the lemon one.
Gross.
I love the lemon flavor.
Yeah, that's gross. I'm sorry.
I still drink it if I get sick.
Really?
But I don't really get sick.
Yeah, I like Pedialyte when I'm sick. But
that's goofy.
Yeah, I like Pedialyte. Also,
that's goofy.
If they want to sponsor us, totally down for that too.
There's no way Pedialyte would ever want us as a spokesman because it's for children.
I disagree.
And you have a mustache.
Yeah.
So there's like multiple problems.
Like you can't have Alex as a spokesperson.
They would never pick you as a spokesperson.
Of the mustache specifically.
Think about that. I love it.
When you think about fatigue in your clinic, what do you think kind of the biggest mistakes folks are making around their fatigue? Just sleeping too much or resting?
Well, to be honest, clients won't even tell us.
Oh, okay.
So we run into.
You just said that you're seeing it a lot.
I see it a lot because it's a question I ask, but people will
like hide it. I'm not tired.
Hide it, or they already have an explanation. And I always think, and our team talks about this a lot, but you never want to have an explanation that can never be wrong, which is one of those. It's not scientific.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you explain away your fatigue and you do it in a way that you can never be wrong. And so I see this a lot with medical care, period. But
like, I only sleep 4 hours. I'm going to be tired.
Well, so how could we test that? Well, let's see. The hypothesis would be then if you get 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep a night, would you now still feel tired? Would we see a change? And so you should be able to test it. So any hypothesis you have, any explanation for why you feel what you feel, you should be able to test, and it should have the ability to be wrong. If it has no ability to be wrong, it's not scientific. In their mind, it seems that they already have a solution. That's probably the biggest one. And maybe it's not related as a problem that we can help with. Is
that solution caffeine?
It can be caffeine. I don't think we are prescribing caffeine, to my knowledge at this point. With the dietitian involved now, we do get more questions about it, which she's definitely really leading our team on the ability to often help with the homeostasis component. That's definitely been a big game changer. Knowing how much you need to be fueling, knowing when and how do you keep your blood sugar regulated. All those different things have been actually pretty useful.
I'd like to have a little clicker on this one for how many times you've said homeostasis.
I am saying that a lot. There's not a great way to say another term. What's another term for it?
Yeah, is there a synonym for that?
Danny? Is there? Baseline.
Baseline.
Now when I say homeostasis, baseline, they're both the same thing in my brain.
All right, we'll take that.
But pain, I would say, is the most obvious one. If somebody has pain, that's something that we're going to dive in. But then when you think about training, the whole aspect of training It's built around fatigue management.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's built around pain.
It's built around pain.
That's the way I think about it, at least.
But you think about modern programming, periodization, that's all around fatigue in the body. Deloads, that's all around fatigue. And that, in my opinion, is helping to let the contractile tissue recover. The key signs that we use, often that's going to help dramatically with the neural drive that's happening to the body. So if you have an inhibition issue and you trigger something in your back and we catch that happened with a key sign, you can now apply some level of reactivation that's going to help with your body's ability to activate that muscle. And so stuff that maybe felt fatigued or overactive is now going to feel more comfortable and normal. And that would be a direct example of how we address it without really, I don't think we often say fatigue though. You know?
We say baseline.
We say baseline.
What are the biggest mistakes you see people make when it comes to fatigue? Let's see how many of these mistakes I make.
We made a list of these, didn't we?
We did.
Okay. So mistake number 1, assuming fatigue always means you are out of shape.
I think I'm in good shape, but I'm still tired.
Have you ever used being out of shape as a reason for explaining your fatigue?
Yes.
Okay. So you have committed this as an issue?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if we just look at the complexity of it, it's more complex than what you think it is. And so you may be out on the court and you just said you felt more tired because of the heat. Had you thought of the heat as a cause of it before, or did you consider it more as...
I'm just out of shape.
Boom. Okay. So you committed mistake number 1. Don't do that. Number 2, more exercise is going to make it feel better. It's going to fix
my
it.
life mantra.
Now, in this one, this is our training trap, right? So under fuel, underperform, overtrain, leads to cycle the same mistake happening over and over again. In this situation, somebody doesn't perform the way they want to, so they think they're going to fix this by working harder.
The synonym for this one is Alex.
Yeah, so we'll start calling this Alex. Training trap, Alex. Ignoring daily activity as a component of your fatigue. So, I think you were telling me beforehand your last week was pretty stressful.
Kind of, yeah. I think 2 weeks ago, but...
Because
I was taking care of my child by myself.
Yes.
It sounds so terrible.
But it sounds intense, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were...
I caught her just walking around with a knife.
No, you didn't. Serious? Did that really happen?
Yes.
So, okay.
She's just a wild child. So she's ripped off like some of the like drawer stoppers that stopped small children from...
This kid's going to be a freak athlete. Yeah.
And so she'll open a drawer and just like blindly pull things out of there. And one of the things she pulled out was a knife.
And then she just she's just walking around.
And then she's like holding it in a way where I'm like, I need to take this from you, but I don't want to cut you.
Yeah. And is she like winging it around and everything?
No, not really. She was just holding it, luckily, but she really didn't want to give it up. So I had to be very careful.
Which of you two is she taking after with this craziness? Were you like
Probably me. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm the crazier one.
Does that make you appreciate your mom more?
Sure.
What she had to deal with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother was way crazier than me. So I think like in the household, I was the tame one.
Yeah, it wasn't good. The relative. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So don't forget that it's not just your workouts that can cause it. And this
stress, life, all the things that come with it can be
heat.
Yeah.
As we move into summer. Mistake 4, treating fatigue as a weakness.
I have no weakness, so I shall never be fatigued.
You will always experience fatigue at some point in your life. It's normal to feel fatigue. There's, I think what we're seeing oftentimes, and this is one of the, I think my irritations with some of the life hacking, performance hacking podcast and all of this stuff is there's this idea that you're not supposed to feel tired. It's dumb. You're going to feel tired. You're a human being, and it's not abnormal. It's not always a pathology. It's literally your system working appropriately. But we have a really large issue with medicalizing things that are not actually medical, and they're totally normal. this could be one of them for you.
All right.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be fatigued.
You're allowed to be tired and not feel that you have some huge issue. Not saying there couldn't be a huge issue or an issue component, but yeah, it's not always low testosterone. Mistake number 5. but it is. But it is, and we all want big muscles. So mistake 5, chasing hacks before building the base. What's your take on that one?
I've built the base, so I'm not chasing the hacks. I'm using them.
Yeah, I love that. One of the ways our team thinks is that you should be building a foundation, and oftentimes when we think of a foundation, it's the things that you control, the actions that you take, not the treatment somebody else can provide for you. So your ability to fuel correctly, drink water instead of always drinking yerba mate by itself.
I think it's good.
But do you drink water?
I do.
Okay. So that'd be
I
foundation.
have not drank any today.
Just serious.
I woke up, I had a kefir drink, and then went straight for the yerba mate.
What is it, the names that make you pick the things you drink?
No,
What's a kefir drink? I've never even heard of that one.
not sure, but I think it's a probiotic.
Kefir. That sounds like pot. Doesn't it?
I wake up, I have a pot drink.
You're drinking. Yeah. Yeah. I do love how when somebody finds something that works for, they're like, how else can we monetize this? Let's see what else we can put this in. Let's just soak it in water.
Yeah.
And then we'll take the wastewater and we'll sell it as a drink. That's what it is.
Oh, that's gross.
Reefer water. Okay. Confusing soreness with productive training. This honestly was your biggest issue back in the day.
Love to be sore.
Yeah. So in my opinion, you don't have to feel crush after every single workout. And to be honest, if every workout is crushing you, that is actually a bad sign. You don't feel crushed after every workout. But you don't actually feel, you have some workouts where
I feel crushed after 1 out of 4 workouts.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
Right? But if you
We'll
think,
take that.
if every single workout you're taking it to a 10 out of 10 fatigue, and you think how long it takes for your body, if we're just talking about the performance capability for your body to actually recover from an intense stimulus like that, you're overtraining.
Only after squat workouts. But I do like 4 squat variations in one day.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Your goal after that is no sitting down.
Correct.
You want to make
No
it so that sitting.
I can sit down all day. I just cannot stand up.
So don't forget that if you have a well-developed plan, honestly, this is where I run into individuals who have a workout of the day mentality. It's one of them where
No long-term planning.
no long-term planning. I see this a lot with personal trainers who don't know how to program well. They understand there's a perception that, hey, I'm paying for this workout with this client's paying for a workout. I'm going to make sure that they get a really hard workout. May not be the thing that you want. And oftentimes if somebody's coming out of a rehab state and your body is devoting a lot of its resources to recovery and healing, taking all of those resources and just smoking your body, that's not going to give you the best outcome and can actually drive you back into a new injury.
And those people aren't probably coming back to your personal trainer again because
No,
they can't get off the couch for
no.
4 days.
I do remember when I worked as a personal trainer when I first moved to Tucson, and I remember I was out for some reason, and I had one of my clients who was a ultra marathoner, which was kind of funny because it wasn't as if I worked with a lot of those individuals, but she really wanted to work on her overall strength. And I had her work with this guy who was a professional bodybuilder, and he was monstrous, super nice guy, monstrous. And I did not give him what I had drawn out for the workout. And he took her through a tricep workout only for a whole hour. And she couldn't move her arms for about a week and a half. So when I came back, she had such extreme tricep soreness. And I was like, dude, what did you just do to this lady? And he's like, it was a great workout. Yeah. And he was like super happy with it. He's like, that's going to give her that. I mean, that made no sense.
She's had massive hypertrophy
Yeah.
of the triceps.
Yeah, she had actual tricep death. That's not what you're going for. All right, last one. Not separating perceived fatigability from performance fatigability. That's what we learned today.
That's what we learned today.
Yes. There's more than one thing that contributes to the experience of fatigue. So if you're using terms like central fatigue or peripheral fatigue, it's fatigue. And then there's different things that can participate in it, but they're all are modulating the experience. There's always a little bit of all of those with any action that you do.
We've talked already about workouts a little bit, but if you're feeling fatigued in your day-to-day life, what are your suggestions to stop being so tired all the time?
Well, I think that you start with a baseline of where you currently are. So there's a lot of different outcome tools that you can look at or forms that you can fill out and just see where your level of fatigue rates. But then also think through those 4 things. And I would say the part that individuals miss is the part on the perceived side. The idea that if you're having issues around your body staying healthy, just the basic regulatory capacity of your body, if that's off. So if you're having large inflammatory events, poor sleep, you don't fuel well, you don't drink water, those are all signs of your body's not handling baseline well.
If you're not taking testosterone,
Yes.
you know you're going to have a bad day.
Yes. And so if somebody starts to take testosterone, they're using that, in my opinion, probably from that perception
Right.
of regulation. The second one is if you hurt or you're dealing with something super stressful in life, you find that your motivation is dragging, you feel sleepy all the time, all of these things are happening, that is a psychological state issue, and those things need to be addressed. Those two by themselves will radically change how you think about fatigue, in my opinion. Now, let's say you start to train. If you're looking at the actual state of the contractile tissue, that's literally what lifting does. So every time that you do some level of strength training or any physical activity, your body is going to basically be taking from the system to basically rebuild and repair your tissues. You'll get stronger. You'll hypertrophy. You develop all the things that make you better at contracting the muscle without getting fatigued. But then the last one that I think often then gets missed is fatigue that's happening from your body's ability to actually generate the neural impulse. That can be inhibition. That can be swelling inside a joint. That can be a whole bunch of different problems. So you want to make sure that you have key signs that tell you the state of your system.
You and your key signs.
I love key signs. No, I really do.
Yeah.
I think it works really well.
Key signs and feet.
But programming does work along with foot massages. If that's what you're called. Stupid.
Anything else you want to hit on fatigue today?
Have a program. So if you are struggling with fatigue, you feel that you're addressing those perceived fatigue issues, and you really want to maximize your fatigability, be able to be more fatigue resistant, you want to have a program, and then you actually want to track your results, because that way you can actually make modifications.
My watch tracks my energy score.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, but it seems to have a lot of the metrics that we've talked about today in terms of nutrition, sleep, activity level.
I think it doesn't have the complete construct though. So I think that once again, I've had so many people come in who tell me they have a perfect sleep score but still feel exhausted. Well, okay,
and it's not just sleep.
issue.
At least I've got a sleep score, but I also have an energy score that takes into account, some of the nutrition things. Sleep is definitely a part of it, but like how much activity did you do the day?
How accurate is it? Do you find it's actually linking up with what you feel?
I'd say, I've probably used it for 3 years now,
Okay.
and it's steadily been in like the 80 to 90 range. And like I'm tired, but I also have 2 small children, so I think that's to be expected. So I'd say it's relatively accurate on a subjective scale.
So I've seen a couple things.
But I've also had days where like my sleep score was 95 and I'm like, I'm just used today.
Well, I've had more than once where somebody will come in and I believe that the score that they're getting is making them think that they feel worse. They don't have an issue until they literally look at their score.
Yeah, I was at a 40 today.
Oh, I thought I slept well, but my sleep score was horrible. It's like, okay, how accurate is this thing? So you may inadvertently be giving yourself a nocebo effect,
Yeah.
or you're making yourself feel worse and you don't even have to. I do think there's such a thing as too much information. If you're looking at an infinite number of variables, one of those things is going to tell you you're doing horrible. So if we look at 1,000 things, even if you're in general really, really good place, you can get obsessed on one thing that's telling you you're horrible. I just think that's a bad state of mind.
Mine always tells me I fall asleep too fast. Like Why is that a problem?
Yeah. And what's up with the judgment,
Yeah.
Apple? Is it Apple?
Nah, Samsung.
What's up with the judgment, Samsung? Trying to make people upset and unhappy with themselves?
Because they fall asleep in 4 minutes
Yeah,
when they're
man.
supposed to fall asleep in 5 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're too tired.
Limit your judgment. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not, I don't mind it, but I do think that sometimes it can be an issue.
All right. Well, you can find me pounding some yerba mate and desperately trying to trick my central nervous system into thinking I'm still 22. That never works, but it works for me.
Start juicing.
All right. You can find us on Instagram at Past Your Prime Podcast. Also, if you got some value out of today's episode, do us a massive favor. Hit that like button, hit that follow button on whatever platform you're listening to right now, and leave us a 5-star review. Not 4, not 3.5, not 4.9, but 5. It's the easiest way to help us grow the show.
It's crazy that you can do 4.9 now.
I think on Apple.
You can, so it's actually, you can go by points now. That's
Actually,
why
I'll take a 4.9.
Yeah, we'll take a 4.9 or a 5.
If you want to work on your fatigue score on your Google app, go to smithperformancecenter.com and Craig and his team will help you fix your fatigue score and not be as past your prime as you were the day before.
Love it. Don't be past your prime.
All right. But please do.
Yeah. BOP, baby.
Peace.
And then we're back. Yeah. Oh, and we're back. I do like the Gatorade comment. It's Gatorade.
I don't even remember where we are anymore.
Well, so we were
Just keep all of this part in. Yeah, I've been feeling more crushed in the gym recently.
How many minutes are we at?
Okay.
Really?
20. Okay, good. I was moving at a good pace then.
You're clipping it well.
We got like one good song. He actually dropped 3 albums the same day.
Who is it?
Drake.
All right.
Yeah, only one, but only has like one good song from 3 albums.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think I saved 2 songs from all 3 albums. After a minor technical difficulty, we are back.
You fell asleep.
I fell asleep. The fatigue got to me, and I am now awake. 1, 2, 3. Bumba clap.